Anyway, I just woke up and I'm walking Walter, and so I decided to make a video. All right, so this video is about the toxicity in the Cuban community and the so basically, let's start with the toxicity part, and that happens through the hero worship and or the worship that occurs in the Cuban community, and how it's made people let's see, isolated in many regards. So I'll tell you about that, both fast and slow. And oh no, I might have to clean something up. Good, I don't have to clean up yet. Walter, hang on. Wait until we get down there first. Just wait, and then you could do it without me having to pick it up. We'll go off leash in a minute here. So basically, what I've just noticed is that there's just this whole piece of, oh, someone's so fast. Oh, someone's so fast. People in like God status, God mode. Like, really? They're just, and all they want to do is just be considered regular human beings. But at the same time, the toxicity also becomes into people are typically friends, and they're clicked up based off of when they started cubing and everything, so they're all together in a group and everything. But everybody's segregated themselves into different classes in terms of cubing, and that's not very healthy. Like, sure, it's impressive when people solve really, really fast. It's impressive. However, we can't be putting people on pedestals, making other people feel bad because they're not as fast. Because everybody started out at the bottom. Everybody started out not knowing how to solve the cube or anything about the cube, and then eventually they do. And in actual speed doesn't save the planet. You know what I mean? So like, it really matters like what's on the inside and what people are kind of doing and everything and stuff like that. So say for example, I staffed this competition this one time, and there was a guy, there was another, guy there, and he was talking about organizing or whatever. I noticed all, unfortunately prove myself, which I never should have done anyway. Prove who I was in the Cuban community to get their respect. So it's like, oh, how many, so casual, how many competitions that nobody knows about, where there's never been comps, and I'm going to keep it a secret. Yes. But basically, after he'd found out that I'd organized 9 competitions, suddenly I had value. When I should have had value anyway, because I was a cuber. It didn't matter what my speed was or whatever. I was just like starting out in FMC, so I'm pretty bad at FMC, but that's cool though. It's like other people are competing in it anyway. You know what I mean? So it's like everybody should be welcome and accepted. So it was really cool, like how say like Josh Farron just like gave me tips on FMC and whatever, and didn't treat me poorly. You know what I mean? So like so stuff like that. Like, everybody has their worth because they can solve the cube, and that's all that matters. Looking on the inside, not somebody's external speed, because that's just external things. And yes, that does lead to the inner motivation on the inside of what does this, like, oh yeah, so if they're fast, that means that on the inside they have that good work ethic and all that stuff. Yes, that's just one piece, and other people might be working really, really, really hard in other areas and not have the time to put in the 8 to 10 hours of cubing to be at the top. You know what I mean? And when I mean top, I just mean numbers. I don't mean like somebody's a pyramid, somebody's a king or whatever, and all that stuff. Because at this point, here's where we go into quantity over quality. At this point, there are significantly, the quantity is high in competitions, and the quality is low. The quality is low, and it's not, and people think is growing. I don't believe that the Cuban community is growing. I feel like it's changing, and people like come in and they go out, and that's really keeping them in it. Look at Walter. So I'm going to be harsh and I'm going to say your competitions are probably boring because you're not putting any effort into them, and you're not including others, and the staff is always really exclusive, and and the staff look down on the competitors when it's like the competitors, the general competitors, the people that can solve it between, above 20 seconds, above, you know even like the competitors that solve above 11 seconds, that solve above 15 seconds, up until that 10-minute limit. There's a 10-minute limit for a reason. It's to include everybody. Everybody can be included. And and sorry, I started seeing where my dog was because he wasn't nearby. Um and it's those people that keep the Cuban community going. We need to keep them happy. We need to focus on them because the fast people are in it for themselves. The fast people are in it for the fast people. I like for themselves, and it's those people that want those numbers. But so organizers need to focus on the beginners. They need to focus on the young people. They need to focus on the old people. Like, adults are, they also want to have a fun experience at a competition. And like I just noticed, like, unnecessarily hard on themselves, and really connecting emotionally to their numbers, and that is not good. You saw the pressures on these final rounds in which people are doing terribly because they're just so over emotionally connected to the numbers. They're feeling so judged, and they need to take charge of their energy, charge of everything, and just focus on having fun, and instead of judging themselves and thinking that people are judging them and all that sort of stuff. Like, that's why I push, Cubers meditating, Cube meditation. I'm Cube meditation on Twitch whenever I'm like in the Twitch stream, like, because it's true. And ooh, Walter, look at that rabbit over there. Go run. See, I'm trying to see if he can run. Walter's 13 now. And there's all sorts of cool pet stuff. Go! That's 13. That's 13. All right. There's all sorts of cool pet stuff to memorialize him, and I'm excited to buy a bunch of stuff. Like, they have the dog's face. My friend was all like, "Oh, you could just do that on a phone." He's right. I was like, "But I want the canvas thing with the wood on there and all that stuff. You can take a breed of your dog. You can get slippers of your dog, a stuffed animal of your dog, and then I want to take him to get the cremated by himself, and then they put him in a nice wood box with his name on it." Unfortunately, you gotta consider those things when your dog turns 13. He's done the last 10 years. Look at that. He's got years left, so I'm gonna be saving money because I'm world traveling at the end of his life, like, as often as I can. But so I guess that's what I was talking about. So like back to your competition. You need to make sure that you have a sponsor. It could be a corporate sponsor, it could be a Cuban sponsor, but you need to have a sponsor. You really need to take the time to for the gestation period of your competition. Make your baby, make your competition your baby. Like, I don't know of any of the competitions that I've ever thrown would ever want, which I would need to, like, redo because they went bad. They were all really, really good. They were sponsored by Chi and Moyu and Rubik's Cube Speed Solving Association and Lamp Reinerson, an engineering company, giving like $1,000. Like, Cubers, take the time to go get sponsorships, to go get money, to like really make your competition good. And they always had vendors. Like, vendors are bomb. People want to sell stuff. Let them come and make money at your comp. It's not, like, and take the time to make it fun. Shout people out. Get additional awards for fun things. And because, like, nobody hangs around until the end. Everybody feels like really everybody feels, well, I'm not fast, so bye. And then suddenly the whole thing is like, well, since nothing ever happens at a competition, let me just quit. Like, I'm not missing out on anything, like, myself included. I can just, like, not go to competitions anymore because, like, unless I'm organizing them, they're gonna be the same, and there's really nothing that I'm missing out on. And I can always, like, step off the wheel for even 1 to 5 years and jump back on, and everything will still continue to be the same. So if you want to be different, I suggest you take the time to be different. Um, and that's why, quote unquote, fast people shouldn't organize competitions. They should focus on going and having fun, right? Because fast people isolate themselves to practice for dozens and dozens of hours, and they're not taking the time for the gestation period of their competition. And they put up a comp, and then they throw it, and they're the ones who end up having fun because they themselves and the other people that they're clicked up with are there for their numbers. You know, while the general Cuban community, which is all that matters in this whole thing, are here to have fun. They're here to experience. They're here to like meet people. They're here for people to be nice to them. You know what I mean? And so we need to take the time to do that. And the people that are sitting up practicing for dozens and dozens of hours, they lose communication skills. They lose people skills because they're so focused on the cube all the time. So they don't have the time to say, hey, welcome to my competition. I'm so happy you're here. You know, like, let me inspire you to do some stuff in the Cuban community, to stay in the Cuban community. Yes, I mean, what I have noticed is that like a lot of the people that I've inspired have like, you know, like people like Drake Bot, Lucas Stockwell. There was this kid who started a club that I helped him with. He was like, he even was like, well, I don't have the time to become world class, so I'm just gonna focus on like tennis and piano or something like that. Even that super young kid, remember that super young kid, that super young Asian kid who was like under 10 years old, and he was like blind solving in like a minute, you know, like even he's like retreated to chess, like, oh, I'm gonna focus on chess and forget cubing or whatever, you know. So I mean, that's just like kids. But we need to focus on those like the general Cuban community and making it a really good experience so that they can at least look back and be like, you know, yeah, Rubik's cubing was really fun, you know, and the competitions were really good, and the organizer really seemed to care about the general admission, you know, the people that were just generally going and putting in their times and stuff like that, you know. Yeah. Also, you know, raffles are really cool. Raffles are really fun. It's really nice to get the name tags, you know, to get something out of the deal. You can't just walk in, put in your times, and then leave. You know, it's like, geez, ugh. You know what I mean? There has to be more than that. You need, you know, as a vegan, I'm saying you need some more meat. You know, like you need some more. Oh, cool. There's like a heron over there. It's a really big bird. Fine. Anyway, I think that's all about this video. Toxicity in the community. We got to watch out for that, and because it can cause mental health issues and to the point where people will just quit forever. And also quantity over quality. You know, it's really about the quality over the quantity. You know, if somebody just went to like say just one of my competitions, that's like the only one they went to. That's cool. Oh, look at these ducks. Where are they? Where did they go? That's cool with me because I know they had a great experience. You know, they got to experience, say, a concession stand. They got to experience a vendor. They got to experience a raffle, and you know, all those things that make competitions great. Anyway, bye.